Shalom, 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 shalom. Oh, say shalom, b'romav hu ya'aseh. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru. Amen. Oh, say shalom, b'romav hu ya'aseh. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru. Amen. Shalom, 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 shalom. Oh, say shalom, b'romav hu ya'aseh. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru. Amen. Oh, say shalom, b'romav hu ya'aseh. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru. Amen. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is such a pleasure to get to be here in this space, this beautiful air-conditioned space, to get to start Shabbat with each of you. It is a wonderful weekend here at Temple Emanuel, and I'm so glad that we can be together this evening to welcome Shabbat, to welcome one another, beginning as we are wont to do on page 10 in our prayer books. Those words can also be found on the screen if you are here with us in the room.
Open the door. Open your eyes. Open your heart. See what's inside.
Truly, it is a weekend of celebration. We have our annual meeting coming up on Sunday, an opportunity to join in community. I'm not even sure there's much business of the synagogue that needs doing, other than that forming of community and honoring those who have honored us through their time and talents. It is a wonderful weekend because we are celebrating this weekend having Student Cantor Sierra Fox with us for the last 2 years of the life of this congregation. And I know it, in addition to Shabbat, is what brings many of us here this evening. And we are also celebrating this evening, or this entire weekend perhaps, as Emma and Brody become B'nai Mitzvah here at Temple Emanuel. Emma, Brody, would you bring your brother, your parents? Can I get you all to come up here? As we turn to page 2 in our prayer books, on page 2, we find those words as we welcome Shabbat by kindling the lights of Shabbat. Come on up here. Ooh, who's lighting the candles? All right, whoever is up for it, it is time. Let's do it. Hold on to both the metal parts and the candle if you would. We don't want it to fall off. Getting close. Getting close. It's a team effort around here.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you so much. You are welcome to go back to your seats. I promise you'll see more of them during our service this evening. As I invite you to turn now to page 5 in your prayer book as we find words welcoming the sweetness of Shabbat. Page 5, inviting you to rise if it is comfortable for you to do so.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho.
Please, you are welcome to be seated as we welcome Shabbat, as we warm up our voices with words of Psalms. Psalm 95 can be found on page 12 in your prayer books, and we invite you to join with us.
Likunirane
turn now in our prayer books to pages 20 and 21 as we welcome Shabbat itself into our community, into our midst, with words of Lecha Dodi.
La la la
It is so wonderful to welcome guests who are in town for our bar and bat mitzvah. It is so wonderful to welcome back some of our Floridians, though I wish you had left this heat down there. It is wonderful to welcome you all, and I invite you to take this opportunity to turn to the people around you to wish them a Shabbat Shalom as we form sacred community tonight. And when you are ready, we invite you to take your seats as we turn to page 24, continuing that spirit of welcoming the angels to be with us on this sacred and special day.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Imelech, Malchei Hamnachim,
Before we continue on page 26, would you read with me in the English on the bottom of page 27? Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחי כל יום נכון, וחיית את כל בית ישראל. בעגלה, ובזמן קריב נאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל, ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, נאמרו אמן.
Page 28, our Baruch praise, inviting you to rise in body or in spirit as we enter our prayers together.
Arichu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Drawing inspiration from the words on page 30, we continue with the words in the prayer book, 9 lines down or on the screens before us, if you are with us in the Beit HaTefillah, before we continue back on page 30, 6 lines from the bottom. You know it, you love it, sing with us.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Olay yom balayla, olay azor mipnei choshech, olay Lord mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Ma'afir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'vein layla. Adonai tzeva'ot shemo, El Chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim.
And on the bottom of page 33, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form?
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema
Unless your name is Emma, I would invite you to be seated as we continue page 36 with our Ve'ahavta praise.
Adonai Elohecha, b'chol havecha u'nafshecha, u'b'chol me'otecha, v'chayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinatam levinecha, Beshitecha, Bebitecha, Uvachtecha, Meterech, Uvshokbecha, Uvkumecha, Uvshartam Leot, Oyatecha, Vechayu Letetafot, Eineinecha, Uvtavtam, Amazizot Betecha, Uvisharecha, Leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kiddushim v'lechem. Ani Adonai Elohim, asher hotzati etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lechiot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohim.
Turning in our prayer books now to page 40, we find words of our Michamocha praise, freedom's promise renewed in every day and age by the works of our hands. Page 40. Even as we gather together for a weekend of celebration such as this one, we have to acknowledge that it is coming on the heels of an extraordinarily long week. For those in the Pittsburgh Jewish community, these last several weeks have been even longer than those before, as we remember tragedy and are forced to relive tragedy that has befallen our community. We take a deep breath, surrounded by the strength of the community, as together we offer the words on the bottom of page 42, praying for a sense of peace, praying for a sense of healing, praying for a sense of shelter and protection. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And on the top of page 44, celebrating the covenant that is Shabbat. Turning to page 46 in our prayer books, we begin our Shabbat Amidah. It is a pleasure to invite Brody forward now and then again tomorrow morning to lead us in this section of our prayers. If it is comfortable for you to do so, we invite you to rise. All right, and they're all yours.
Adonai sefer tartibta ufi gityoteha. Adonai, open up my lips, and your mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Eloheinu Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Tar Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somek Nochlim B'Rofei Cholim, Umitir Asurim, Umachayim Emunuto, Lishaneh Afar, Michamocha B'Gevurot, Umidoleach, Mechmemi, Umachayim, Umatmi Yeshua, and Manatalachayotko, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
On page 52, would you join me in the English? Well done, man. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. We take a moment for the silent prayers that can only come from our own hearts, using the words through page 62, or the words inside each of us to guide us. When you have finished your prayers, we invite you to be seated.
Say
sense of peace in our hearts, we turn to page 253 and offer our prayers on behalf of those who may not be feeling that sense of peace this Shabbat. This evening, we think of members of our community who have recently contracted COVID-19 and to those who are in the hospital recovering from ailments. This evening, we think as well of those who are in your heart and on your mind. And if you're comfortable sharing aloud the names of those in need of our prayers for healing tonight, I would invite you to do so.
John Paul Mahovsky, Lenny Shore.
Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. Page 253. Sierra, if you'll permit me, but a quick word of context for those who may be joining our community just for this evening. It hasn't always been this good at Shabbat evening services. We have been blessed over the past 2 years to have Student Cantor Sierra Fox with us, leading us not only in worship and in holiday celebrations, but becoming a friend to so many. And on this evening, as we celebrate the next in the generation of leaders of this place, we also celebrate those who have enabled us to make this Shabbat, and indeed so many opportunities happen in the context of community. Please.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, I started writing this message and deleted what I had written more times than I care to count. I tried starting with how I went back to my Sierra's copy of Master List of Congregations for Placement spreadsheet from March 2021, just to see that big number 1 in my personal rankings column next to Temple Emanuel. I tried starting with how I remember watching videos of the virtual choirs that Temple put together during COVID before I interviewed, and thinking to myself, wow, I would love to be a part of building in-person choirs here. I tried starting with a story of how I waited so anxiously the day our placement results were set to come out that I just cocooned myself in a blanket while engaging in some online Chavruta study with my program. And I tried not to be too obvious about my frantic email checking until I received that awaited email of "You're a match" from our placement director. at which point I got way too excited to hide it from my partner on the Zoom screen and just let it all out. I had already fallen in love with Temple Emanuel, so impressed with the amazing team of leaders I met in my interview, our executive director Leslie, our president Michelle, of course Rabbi Aaron, all of whom spoke about this congregation with the love and pride that I too feel. Even with the caveat that this position would likely be only 1 year, I felt such a strong pull to be here. And as I've said before, even with my excitement and optimism, Temple managed to exceed even my highest hopes for my first pulpit experience. And so I must ask you to indulge me as I use this time to express just a small percentage of the gratitude that overwhelms me. From my first experiences at Temple, I felt the warmth and kindness described by the interview committee in droves. Having to start online, I worried that I wouldn't be able to develop the connections that I dreamed of with you all. But despite doing even our first high holidays together online, I could feel the community's presence. Some of you made sure to come to services even while we were still taking extra precautions. Some of you reached out virtually. Some of you even introduced yourselves to me on the street, seeing me around town. I felt instantly welcomed and held by this incredible congregation. My first year wasn't exactly what I had expected, with COVID variants preventing me from starting the choir I had hoped for. I felt so encouraged to try new things and take risks in my leadership. As a student in my first placement, I had no idea how to be a cantorial presence. I had never planned Shabbat services before. I had never helped to lead B'nai Mitzvah services. Never played guitar in public, never led a Torah study, never written or given a sermon before, let alone a high holiday sermon, which was my very first. As nervous as I might have been, you as a community made me feel like I was free to try things for the first time, to live in that vulnerable space of firsts without fear of judgment or derision. You gave me space to be myself, to be a student, to learn and grow in an environment of such love and joy. And so some thanks to the incredible educators here at Temple. Being able to see how you teach and lead the next generation has been such an inspiration. Having been so self-conscious about my ability as a teacher coming into this, I worried that I might be seen as an imposition to classes, disrupting the schedule with my visits, not able to hold up to the high standards that I know Temple holds. But instead, I found absolute welcome and enthusiasm from every teacher, a willingness to collaborate, a kind and helpful presence, and the gift of watching them lead. The students, too, gave me the gift of a varied and joyful teaching experience, teaching me surely as much, if not more, than I was teaching them. When interviewing for my new pulpit, I was asked to model a teaching scenario, and while 2 years ago I would have been shaking in my boots, I was able to happily recreate a memorable class I taught for last year's first graders, singing Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you, God, and having them fill in what they were thankful for, creating our own new verses. It's a moment of sweetness that hasn't left me and probably never will. Our educational programming here is just so rich and thoughtful, and it continues to serve as a model to me of what we can achieve by empowering our students and connecting their Jewish learning to their experiences in the greater community. I'm so grateful to the B'nai Mitzvah students and their families who allowed me the joy of being a part of their special days. Being present for so many of these incredible life cycle moments has been such an honor for me, and it means the world that I was able to be present for, let alone a part of your coming of age moments. Your bravery in committing to lead our community in prayer and Torah are a testament to the future of Judaism and give us all hope. To our Sunday morning Minyan group, it's been such a delight to join you whenever possible and lead even when possible, and especially when what I know is such a well-oiled machine doesn't need my leadership. You made me feel so welcome. It's been such a lovely addition to my time here. And to our Torah study crew, you have truly enriched my experience of Judaism, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to get to learn with you. Your brilliant engagement with texts have shown me what Torah study can be and I am so grateful for your support as I took my first forays into leading studies myself. I have to add an extra thank you, of course, to my amazing choir. From the first moment I read Temple's application for a student cantor, I fell in love with the idea of starting a choral group here. There are so many reasons I am grateful to have had this second year, but high up on that list is being able to have had this experience with you. Your generosity in offering your time, your energy, your voices, and your spirits to this endeavor is a gift I can never repay. Your support in and out of rehearsals, and the ways you have grown as a group have literally made me cry on multiple occasions. I know all too well how vulnerable offering your voice in song and prayer can feel, and shared early on with you the mantra that I rely on for singing. You don't have to love the sounds coming out of your mouth. You just have to love the people you're singing to. You bring such love and dedication to your music. You have given me and this whole congregation the gift of your wonderful voices in song. I love everything you have brought to our music, the beautiful sounds you make, and the love with which you make them. I'm so grateful to you for putting up with my bad jokes from the piano at our rehearsals, for singing so beautifully in services, rehearsals, and Havdalah, and for encouraging me with your kind words, supportive messages, and uplifting music. The staff and leadership of Temple Emanuel is unparalleled. Every single member of the broad team that makes Temple run fills me with gratitude. From those who keep us safe, to those who keep our building clean and running, to those who keep us full of some of the most delicious food I've ever had. Everyone reliably goes above and beyond to make Temple what it is. When I come to Temple, I know that I will feel safe, comfortable, and probably leave with piles of to-go boxes of food to nourish me for days. And to our music team, including Rebecca and those who have joined us for the holidays, I am beyond grateful. Being able to work with a collaborative pianist as brilliant, sensitive, and musical as Jim Burns, has been such a joy for me. From my first meetings with Rabbi Aaron, Leslie, and Michelle, I knew that our leadership team here was really something special. I have been supported in every way I could imagine, in more ways than I could possibly express. The mentorship and guidance I have received has been so incredible, I have been able to share it with my peers so that they can not only utilize the advice I've received, but also advocate for better mentorship themselves. Your wealth of wisdom is a treasure, and your kindness and graciousness in offering it has allowed me to feel truly comfortable asking even my most embarrassing questions, knowing I will receive thoughtful advice and feedback from people I trust completely. And Rabbi Aaron, I will only be able to speak a little bit about my gratitude to you because, like you, I am admittedly a bit of a crier. So when I told my classmates about how wonderful you were, they thought I must be exaggerating, because how could that be possible? And as more of my classmates had the delight of meeting you, they all began to realize that if anything, I wasn't doing justice to the way in which you exemplify what the rabbinate could and should be. I know that when I first applied, it was for what was expected to be only a one-year position, and I was lucky enough for it to turn into 2. What you might not have realized, however, is that your position as my mentor and teacher was not going to be bound by such time restrictions. I will likely be asking you questions and coming to you for guidance for the rest of my days. When Pirkei Avot says, Aseh lecha rav uknei lecha chaver, make for yourself a teacher, a rabbi, and acquire for yourself a friend, I couldn't have imagined a better colleague and teacher than this. From giving me opportunities I could never have imagined, offering high holiday sermons, leading services by myself, taking on Torah studies alone, to encouraging me to step outside my comfort zone, playing guitar, teaching, chanting, and more, to giving me the most honest, caring, helpful advice I could have imagined. You have made me feel empowered, safe, and humbled to do these things in the presence of someone who truly embodies what I dream the future of Jewish leadership will look like. your ability to address every person, every situation, and every question with complete kindness, to put aside ego for the sake of all those around you, and to lead with strength and vulnerability. You are the model on which I hope to build my leadership. It is hard not to feel some grief thinking of leaving. I feel heartened knowing that I leave you in the most capable, kind, caring hands of your new cantor, my dear, dear friend, Cantor Calix Jacobson, who I know wishes they could be here today as well. Their excitement to join this community and the warmth with which I know you are welcoming them already give me the peace of heart and mind that I need when faced with my next steps. Here we go. Though I always say times of transition often feel like times of grief, I also know that my leaving is in many ways only a physical change of location. There are so many ways in which I will never, can never leave, not just because I will come visit you, though that is certainly something I look forward to as well. Just a week ago, as we observed Shavuot, tradition had us read the scroll of Ruth. When faced with the possibility of leaving Naomi, Ruth says to her, "Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, your God, my God." And this text, for me, has always evoked a different type of Torah, a poem by E.E. Cummings, which also speaks to me in this moment. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has meant, and whatever a sun shall sing is always you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. I will carry each of you in my heart wherever I go, and I will never be without it. Wherever I go for the rest of my career, for the rest of my life, you will go. You are my people, and your people are my people. And whenever the sun sings, it will sing the song of you, my dear friends, my beloved community. Because words fail, I wanted to try to leave you with a song. We'll see if I can do it. Our Shabbat Amidah, the core liturgy of our service, contains a section on Hoda'ah, thankfulness, on pages 58 to 59. It provides an alternative poetic interpretation of our prayer of thanksgiving, Modim Anachnu Lach, which recognizes the incredible gifts we are given and offers thanks for them. As I look around this space, at the world around me so filled with beauty, I feel such gratitude for everything that has brought me here, for the divine goodness and godliness that I see in the inspiring sparks of light that make up this community. And I feel amazed and sustained by all that you are. And so I invite you to sing along as you feel comfortable, as you learn it, to this song that I have written and dedicate to you, my community. God of goodness, we give thanks. God of goodness, we give thanks. We give thanks for the gift of life. Blessed are you, all of you, and blessed are the divine ties that will connect us always. You will forever be a source of goodness, and for you I will forever give thanks. Shabbat Shalom. Made it.
On behalf of the many board members and past presidents here with us this evening, our congregational president, Michelle Markowitz, to say thank you.
Music at Temple Emanuel and the name and memory of the Diskin family go hand in hand. Through the Diskin family generosity over the last 2 years, Temple Emanuel has been able to transform the Diskin legacy into a regular musical presence here at Temple Emanuel. Just over 2 years ago, Temple Emanuel began the process of trying to hire, to my knowledge, our first ever student cantor from the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. We knew it was a seller's market, and we were going to have to find someone brave enough to take a chance on a congregation with no established track record for having a student cantor, and who was also willing to travel from New York to Pittsburgh on a regular basis. We hit the jackpot. I wish I had better words to express my gratitude, Temple's gratitude, to Sierra for the tremendous gifts she has given us over the last 2 years. And fortunately, next to speak is Rabbi Aaron Meyer, who always does have those better words, and I will leave that to him in a minute. For now, Sierra, thank you for taking a chance on us. Thank you for giving us the gift of yourself. We know we witnessed the beginning of what is destined to be an extraordinary cantorate, and we are honored to be the ones to say we knew you when.
So everyone in this room knows the power of music to reach beyond our sacred texts straight into our hearts. It's perhaps why we can sing the same text, O say Shalom, at Shabbat service, at a summer camp, and at a Shiva Minyan. The very same text, with different melodies, creates an entirely different feeling. One of the texts that has been a formative part of Sierra's time with Temple Emanuel, and indeed has been a formative part of her journey to the cantorate, are words of Psalm 23. These words, Adonai is my shepherd, my teacher, my safekeeping, I shall not want, are used to offer assurances and comfort to people in their most difficult times. With a beautiful setting made even better by her voice, and even better still by her authenticity. Sierra has offered these words to friends in times of crisis and to members of the temple community during times of mourning, at funerals, at Yizkor, in remembrance of our loved ones. Sierra, tonight, as we celebrate your time with Temple, enriching our community celebrations and holidays and even our saddest moments, I want to present you with a gift on behalf of a grateful congregation. Hang on to that. I have a few more words to say. Created by Israeli calligrapher Izzy Plodwinski, this is a one-of-one piece that we pray will have a special place in your office or in your home, perhaps for the benefit of those who can't see it up close, and to add a little bit of meaning to each of the choices made for this custom artwork. Let me expound just a little bit. This text, it's written on parchment, the same material on which a Torah scroll and other sacred Jewish writings are scribed, because one of your greatest gifts is that of being a teacher of Torah. From sermons you offer it on Shabbat and the high holidays, to Torah study sessions in which you have taught us as both a participant and a leader, teaching Torah is an amazing facet of your cantorate, and we have all been honored to be your students. Though the beginning words of this psalm are written unmistakably bold, black fire, white flame, and they represent our prayer that God's presence is always with you, bringing comfort to you as you bring comfort to the Jewish people. The text of the psalm all around it are written out in the colors of the rainbow. You, Sierra, have brought color to the life of this community, not only in worship services, but in the relationships that you have formed. You add beauty and color to this world in everything that you touch, and we thank you. Finally, on close inspection, you might see that there are gold embellishments shining at you from amidst the text. You have been our teacher of Torah. You've added color in your relationships and your contributions to this community. And perhaps most of all, you have sparkled with authenticity. You care about music, about liturgy, about your work, and most of all about people. And you put your heart into everything that you do. It's perhaps one facet of being clergy that can't be taught, and your authenticity shines forth like a pillar of fire that guided our ancestors in the wilderness. We're going to continue to follow you too through your time with Park Avenue Synagogue. Congrats on that, by the way. And into the amazingly successful career ahead of you in service to the Jewish people. Thank you for starting your journey with me and with us. Thank you.
I better step so I can blow my nose again. We're going to stall a little bit so that I can sing. No, I don't have to sing.
No, we're going to make Emma do it. Indeed.
To the Jewish people.
Immediately following our service, we invite you to join us for a nosh, for some cake, to share your own words of thanks to Sierra for being with us and her congratulations and our excitement for what is to come. But to get us to that cake, we need to conclude our service. And so I invite you to turn to the bottom of page 282 in your prayer books. Page 282, as indeed we do invite Emma again to join us. When you have found the bottom of page 282, if it is comfortable for you to do so, we invite you to rise. You're welcome to be seated. As we prepare for words of Kaddish Yatom on page 294, we remember those who have gone before us. We mourn the passing of Francis Rice, who was laid to rest in recent days, and observe the period of Shloshim for Philip Gefsky. This Shabbat, we mark the Yartzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Harry Alpert, Joseph Berger, Julia Francis Brandt, Louis Boudin, Theodore Ted Caritas, Lena H. Chetlin, Beatrice Cohen, Lorraine Fabricant, Leonard Farron, Rebecca Field, Hyman Fireman, David M. Fries, M. Dahl Gent, Nathan Ginsberg, Leonard Handon, Ruth Horowitz, Evelyn Isco, David L. Jacobson, Ray Katz, Marion Markovitz, Robert Anthony Milletti, George J. Miller, Mildred G. Miller, Sylvia R. Miller, Aaron Paddock, Eileen Pachersky, Mark R. Puderman, Clarence Rosenberger, Earl Rostalski, Leah Koidenov-Schmidt, Jenny Sivitz, Richard Solak, Ann Cohen-Stern, Harry J. Wald, Herman Weiss, Jane Wojak, Eleanor Young, and Bernard Louis Zangwill. If there are others whom you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I invite you to share their names at this time. Yehi zichronam livracha. May the memories of all of our loved ones be for us an everlasting blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom, page 294. And I invite you to rise as you are able in support and sympathy with those who mourn. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabam v'varach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May God who makes peace in the highest of heavens make peace for us and for all who mourn. And together we say, Amen. You're welcome to be seated. As Sierra mentioned at the outset, I too am a crier. So we're doing our best to make this an extended Jewish goodbye. Sierra is going to be with us next Shabbat as well, as following the conclusion of Shabbat, we have the honor of celebrating the Greenberg family wedding, and then 2 Shabbatot after that, as we have the pleasure of celebrating yet another bar mitzvah in our community. I hope that doesn't prevent you from sharing those words of gratitude you each feel over a slice of cake immediately following our time together tonight. But before we get there, words of a closing song. You can find them on the very final words of the prayer we just offered, a prayer with which we began our service, and a prayer for peace, please.
And if you wouldn't mind, my dear friends in my choir, who I feel have given this song such life, I invite you to come and join me up here on the bima. And we remember how this goes. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Shalom.